Las Vegas Raiders, I don't see any way that they're not the third best team in this division.
I don't either.
I don't see a way that they're the worst team in the division, though.
I don't either. But I think you're drunkenly low on the Raiders.
I am drunkenly low on my prediction for this season as we went through after the schedule came out. We'll get into that in just a second. First, let's get into the meat of the schedule here. They're going to open up on September the 13th against the Baltimore Ravens at home. It's going to be the first game in Allegiant Stadium.
With fans.
Monday Night Football. The atmosphere is going to be hot. Unfortunately, I don't think that's a game that they can win.
I'm not going to say they can't win it. I'm going to say I don't think they do.
Mm-hmm.
But then you go into a period of the schedule of we'll know what the Raiders are within the first month of the season.
Mm-hmm.
Because there are three really good gut check games of teams that I think are close to them in the Steelers, Dolphins, and Chargers.
Mm-hmm.
I think the Raiders are right on the outside of those three teams. If they can win one of those games, or hell, even more than one, it will greatly curry favor to me with the Raiders.
And then they get a pretty favorable 4-game stretch where they go against the Chicago Bears at home, go to the Denver Broncos, get the Eagles at home, and then they go to the New York Giants.
You know what's going to happen in that stage?
What's that?
A lot of,
wow, winning.
I think 3 definites and a maybe.
I'm going to say 4 definites.
Really?
Yeah. I feel about the Denver Broncos the way you feel about the Raiders.
Mm-hmm.
Then the rest of the schedule, you got a lot of Bengals and Broncos.
I was actually not talking about the Broncos. I was actually talking about the Bears in that situation.
You're wrong. It's okay.
I still like the way the Bears play defense.
Yeah, in any disagreement, somebody has to be wrong, and it's usually you.
The Raiders have struggled to score points. I think
at
that's
least
one
when
of
you
those,
argue with me.
Right. The Raiders have struggled to score points, and I think that's something that is a danger zone when you're taking on a team that's got a good defense like the Chicago Bears and the Denver Broncos.
Yeah, I don't think they can make the playoffs. So I think Darren Waller is a huge mismatch against the Bears, but we'll get into that closer.
Absolutely.
Closer as we get to that game.
He's a mismatch with everybody.
I feel like the end of the schedule has too many at the Cowboys, Washington football team, at the Chiefs, Chargers, Colts, Browns. I just feel like it's a murderer's row. I feel like they're going to be very much in contention for a playoff berth, and then they're going to fall off the world in the last month of the season. And that is my fear, which is the reason that I have them going 8-9.
Yep.
You, on the other hand,
I might have been drunk when I did this. I don't remember.
You said 7-10 wrong.
And actually, you got my totals flipped there. I actually had them 4-13, and the Broncos 5-12.
Well, here's the thing. I can only do what you tell me, and
I may have told you wrong, but here's the thing. I like it looking better this way because somehow I got to the end of the process of going week by week, picking every game, and then we totaled up all of their wins, and I went, how in the hell do I have the Denver Broncos ahead of the Las Vegas Raiders?
Well, you know what? Maybe it was a Freudian slip. You told me backwards because you were trying to correct your fuck up.
Yeah.
Because there is not a snowball's chance in Atlanta this thing goes 5-12.
Mm-mm.
I think I'm about right at 8-9.
Mm-hmm.
And most of mine is the schedule. If they had the Denver Broncos schedule, I'd have them at 10 wins probably.
Mm-hmm.
Because I think the team's good. And I think the defense is young and it's going to get markedly better. You know why?
Why?
It's that divine Satan, man. That divine Satan playing linebacker, man.
Old Diablo.
Divine Diablo.
Knock on wood.
Knock on wood if you hear me, man. I like this Raiders team better than you do. I have the entire time.
Yeah.
Brian, the third of our morning show live weekdays, 9 a.m., here in the Sportsocracy in the Wicked Weed Studios. Brian is drunk as Gary Busey and Charlie Sheen's love child on how bad he thinks the Raiders are. And I'm literally willing to bet my house that I'm closer than he is. Because I think he's got them legitimately at 5-12.
Yeah.
Or they may be worse than that.
I think they're worse than that. I think you only gave them like 3 wins.
Yeah. I'm closer to right.
Mm-hmm.
Heed the words of the great Flostradamus. I am right on this.
Yes.
The Raiders are closer to a playoff team than they are to the Denver Broncos.
Mm-hmm. When I did my prognostications before seeing the schedule come out, I had them at 8-9. I don't know what happened in the in the post-schedule release project that we did here. But it's definitely going to be much, much better than 5-12 or 4-13 or anything like that. I do believe that.
Agreed.
In my soul. The Las Vegas Raiders, though, it's going to be fun to see fans finally in the stands there at Allegiant Stadium. That's too nice of a stadium to have it sit empty.
Agreed. And you know, I'm looking forward to seeing fans in Allegiant. I'm looking forward to seeing how close the Raiders can get to the playoffs. This is your simulation of the season, and you have the Raiders markedly out of the playoffs.
Yes.
Me, on the other hand, I'm a little more realistic. I'm a few less one-loss or one-win teams. Everybody's more in that like 3 to 4 to 5 to 6 in the bottom tier, and I've got the Raiders just outside of the playoffs.
My big question, though, is if they have another losing season, they go 8-9, does it at some point come back on Chucky? At some point, does John Gruden, does Mark Davis have to have a very tough conversation with Mike Mayock and John Gruden and say, guys, what's going on? Because since you got here, we've been in this nebulous, horrible area.
There's been a lot of young talent brought in, and you've got to see the process through. I still believe in John Gruden, and I'll be honest with you, I shouldn't have even said still. He's convinced me, because think about how bad this roster was just a few years ago. And look at it now. I see what you're doing, Chucky. Knock on wood if you hear me, man. I'll give you a little while longer.
I'm Tex Spencer. He's Jeremy Greene. It is the Sportsocracy. Follow, like, and share us on all the social medias. And don't forget to join us every weekday morning right here at 9-ish in the Sportsocracy.